You defeated them not by playing their game, but by proving that Allah's light can never be extinguished by their darkness. Chosen ones, listen closely, because what I'm about to say will feel like it was written just for you. All your life, people thought they were smarter than you, stronger than you, more powerful than you. They played games in the shadows, they plotted behind closed doors, and they thought their tricks would crush you. But what they didn't realize is that every move they made was already known to Allah. And instead of defeating you, their schemes only built the stage for your victory. You didn't just survive, you beat them at their own game without ever lowering yourself to their level. In today's video, we're diving into 7 powerful lessons on how the chosen ones of Allah always come out on top, no matter who rises against them. Stay with me until the end, because these lessons will remind you that when Allah is your protector, no enemy stands a chance. Chosen ones, never forget this truth. When people plot against you, they are not just plotting against you, they are plotting against the will of Allah. And no one, no matter how powerful, can win against Allah. They whisper in secret, they conspire in groups, they spread lies, they manipulate hearts, and they dig holes for you to fall into. But what happens? They end up falling into the very pit they created. This is not coincidence, it is divine justice. The Quran declares, "And they planned, but Allah planned." And Allah is the best of planners. Surah Al-Imran 3:54. Look at the stories of the prophets, peace be upon them. The brothers of Yusuf, peace be upon him, schemed to destroy him, to erase his name from their father's love. Yet their plan only became the pathway for his rise in Egypt. Haman built a towering plan to humiliate Musa, peace be upon him, yet his schemes collapsed on himself. And the Quraysh plotted endlessly against the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, yet every plot only made his mission stronger until Islam spread across the world. Chosen one, this is your reality too. Do not fear their whispers, their plots, their envy. What they design against you is only tightening the rope around their own necks. Every plan against you is secretly carrying you closer to your destiny because Allah turns their arrows back upon them. What looks like betrayal is actually protection. What looks like loss is actually elevation. And what looks like their victory is actually the start of their downfall. Chosen ones, one of the greatest weapons Allah gave you was not loudness, not revenge, not aggression, but patience. Your enemies tried to outsmart you with deception. They moved fast, they spread rumors, they created illusions to make it seem like they were winning. But you remained patient, and that patience became your shield. They laughed, thinking your silence was weakness. They mistook your calm for defeat. But little did they know that every second you endured without breaking, Allah was writing victory in your name. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, faced years of mockery, exile, and plots, yet he held firm with patience until Allah granted him the ultimate victory of Makkah. And Yusuf, peace be upon him, endured prison walls, betrayal, and lies, yet patience turned him from a prisoner into a king. Chosen one, your enemies rely on speed, on shortcuts, on lies that cannot last. But patience is eternal, and patience is from Allah. Their deception fades, their masks fall, but your patience remains as a light guiding you toward triumph. Remember, every delay you faced was not a loss. It was Allah allowing their lies to collapse under their own weight. And when the dust settled, you were still standing, stronger than before. That is the power of a chosen one, outlasting the storm, not by your own strength, but by trusting Allah's timing. Chosen ones, understand this. Your enemies are obsessed with power. They chase influence, recognition, money, and control. Every move they make is a desperate attempt to appear bigger, stronger, untouchable in the eyes of people. But you, chosen by Allah, were never moved by those illusions. You don't chase the crowns of this world. You carry the crown of truth, and truth does not bow to falsehood. When Fir'aun challenged Musa, peace be upon him, he used magicians, power, and fear to control people. But Musa stood with truth, and a single staff from Allah destroyed every illusion Fir'aun's magicians created. When the Quraysh confronted the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, they offered him wealth, women, and kingship, if only he would abandon the truth. But he refused, saying, "Even if they placed the sun in my right hand and the moon in my left, I would never abandon this mission." That is the spirit of a chosen one. You cannot be bought, silenced, or swayed by worldly power, and this is why you always win, because their foundation is lies, but yours is truth. Power built on lies will always collapse, but truth, no matter how small it seems, will always stand the test of time. They played for status, but you stood for sincerity. They craved applause, but you sought Allah's pleasure. And in the end, truth outshines every deception, and the chosen ones rise higher than the false kings of this world. Chosen ones, your enemies looked at you and thought you were weak. They saw your silence and assumed you had no voice. They saw your struggles and believed you had no strength left. They saw your patience and mistook it for defeat. But what they could not see is that Allah had already armed you with strengths hidden from their eyes. Allah never sends His chosen servants into the battlefield of life empty-handed. He equips you with resilience, with endurance, with sincerity, with the kind of faith that cannot be stolen or broken. These are weapons far greater than anything they can wield. Think of Musa, peace be upon him. All he had in his hand was a staff, yet through Allah's power it became a miracle that silenced every magician. Think of Maryam, peace be upon her, alone, accused and helpless in the eyes of people, yet armed with Allah's protection, she gave birth to one of the greatest signs of Allah. And think of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, chased out of his home, hunted by his enemies, yet armed with unshakable faith that transformed the entire world. Chosen ones, your hidden strengths are the reason their plans always fail. They try to attack where they think you are most vulnerable, but Allah turns those same places into shields of protection. What they called your weakness is what Allah uses to destroy their pride. Remember this, you are never defenseless, never unarmed. Your very connection to Allah is the most powerful strength of all, and it is the one thing they will never be able to overcome. Chosen ones, listen carefully. Darkness has always feared light. Your enemies surrounded themselves with lies, envy, jealousy, and even hatred, hoping that by casting enough shadows over you, they could extinguish your light. They spread rumors to dim your reputation. They tried to break your spirit with betrayal. They spoke against you when you weren't present, and some even resorted to the darkness of fear, envy, and evil intentions. But what they never understood is that your light was never yours alone. It was a gift from Allah, and no one can blow out what Allah Himself has ignited. The Quran tells us, they want to extinguish the light of Allah with their mouths, but Allah refuses except to perfect His light, even if the disbelievers hate it. Surah At-Tawbah 9:32. This is the reality of your life. They tried to bury you, but they didn't know you were a seed. They tried to silence you, but your silence carried more weight than their noise. They tried to curse you, but their curses only bounced back while Allah continued to bless you. Chosen ones, light is not just about shining, it's about enduring. The stars are surrounded by endless darkness, yet they still shine. The moon is swallowed by the night, yet its glow guides the lost. And your soul, armed with faith, continues to shine even when surrounded by the pitch-black schemes of others. They thought their slander would turn people away from you, but Allah turned hearts toward you. They thought their betrayal would destroy you, but Allah used it to purify you. They thought their envy would crush your blessings, but Allah increased them. The reality is, every attempt they made to destroy your light only proved how terrified they were of it. And this is where you must recognize your own power, chosen ones. Your light does not come from wealth, from status, or from recognition. It comes from your connection to Allah, your sincerity, your resilience, and your ability to keep standing when others fall. That is why darkness has no power over you. Just as fire cannot be put out by breath, your light cannot be extinguished by their words, their envy, or their schemes. You shine because Allah chose you to shine, and when Allah decrees light, no force of darkness can erase it. Chosen ones, one of the greatest signs that Allah has favored you is that your very life has become living proof of His promises. People may read the Quran, they may hear the verses, but when they look at you, they see those verses walking in front of them. They see the ayah. Indeed, Allah defends those who have believed. Surah Al-Hajj 22:38. They see how Allah defends you in ways that cannot be explained by logic. Every time your enemies thought they had silenced you, Allah gave you a voice even stronger. Every time they tried to close doors in your face, Allah opened doors they could never touch. Every time they hoped you would be broken, Allah lifted you higher. You are a reminder to everyone around you that Allah's word is not just to be recited, it is to be lived, experienced, and witnessed. Think of Yusuf, peace be upon him. Sold as a slave, betrayed by his own blood, imprisoned by lies, yet every trial he faced became a proof that Allah never abandons His chosen ones. His life became a testimony of the promise, indeed, with hardship comes ease. Surah Ash-Shara 94:6. Think of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The Quraysh plotted, they mocked, they forced him into exile. Yet, when he returned to Mecca as a conqueror, forgiving those who once wanted his death, his life became proof of Allah's words. And Allah will surely support those who support Him. Surah Al-Hajj 22:40. And now, chosen one, think of yourself. How many times did people expect your downfall only to watch you rise again? How many times did they see you alone and thought you would be crushed, only for Allah to send you help from places you never imagined? Your existence itself has become da'wah. It silently tells people Allah's promise is real. Chosen ones, understand this. When Allah chooses you, He doesn't just bless you for yourself, He makes your life a sign for others. People look at you and are forced to admit that there is a higher power guiding you. Even your enemies in their hearts know this truth. They cannot understand how you survived, how you kept moving, how you still carry peace in your heart after everything. But that confusion is not for you to answer. It is Allah's way of exposing His power through you. You don't need to debate them. You don't need to prove yourself. Your very survival, your patience, your rise, your light, they are all undeniable proof of Allah's protection. And this is why you terrify your enemies. You are the living evidence that Allah keeps His promises. Chosen ones, here lies one of the most powerful secrets of your journey. You beat them without ever lowering yourself to their level. This is what truly destroys your enemies. Not that you shouted louder, not that you fought dirtier, not that you manipulated as they did, but that you refused to trade your integrity, your faith, your values for their cheap games. They threw poison into your path, but you never picked it up to throw it back. They slandered you, but you didn't slander them. They lied about you, but you didn't need to lie in return. You stood firm in truth, and that is why Allah granted you victory while they drowned in their own schemes. The world often teaches people that might makes right, that to win you must crush others with the same weapons they use against you. But chosen ones understand a deeper reality. Allah is the one who grants victory, and His path never requires corruption. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, faced enemies who insulted him, who plotted to kill him, who mocked him endlessly, yet he never lowered himself to their filth. When the people of Taif rejected him with cruelty and violence, he didn't curse them back. He raised his hands and prayed for their guidance. When he entered Makkah as a conqueror after years of exile and war, he did not humiliate the Quraysh. Instead, he said, "Go, for you are free." That act of mercy, not vengeance, shattered their hearts and brought them to Islam. This is what chosen ones carry, the ability to win without staining their hands in the dirt of their enemies. Look at Yusuf, peace be upon him. He was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, wrongfully imprisoned. When power was finally placed in his hands, he could have taken revenge. He could have humiliated his brothers as they had humiliated him. But what did he do? He forgave them, saying, "No blame will there be upon you today." May Allah forgive you, and He is the most merciful of the merciful. Surah Yusuf 12:92. That moment of forgiveness was his ultimate victory. He proved that true power is not the ability to destroy, but the ability to rise above. Chosen ones understand this well. Every time you held back from revenge, every time you refused to play their games, every time you chose silence over slander, dignity over retaliation, you were not being weak. You were being divinely protected, because had you lowered yourself to their level, you would have trapped yourself in the same pit they were drowning in. By walking away, you didn't lose. You ascended. You showed the world that your strength does not come from ego or from winning battles in the eyes of people, but from being anchored in Allah's guidance. That is why your enemies are left frustrated. They can't figure out why nothing they do works against you, because the tools they use, deception, envy, betrayal, are weapons you refuse to touch. And light can never be defeated by darkness unless it chooses to dim itself. This is also why Allah elevates you above them. The Quran teaches, repel evil with what is better, and your enemy will become as close as a devoted friend. Surah Fussilat 41:34. Chosen ones, your refusal to lower yourself is not just protection for you, it is a lesson to others, a mirror to your enemies, and an invitation for them to see the truth of Allah's justice. Many who once opposed you will eventually realize that while they wasted their energy trying to destroy you, you rose by staying connected to Allah. Your life becomes a reminder to them that honor is not taken by force, it is granted by Allah alone. And remember this, Lowering yourself to the level of your enemies may bring a short-lived satisfaction, but it will never bring lasting victory. True victory is when you remain pure in intention, clean in heart, and firm in your principles, while Allah Himself fights your battles for you. When you step aside from the mud of their games, Allah steps in with His divine plan, and when Allah fights for you, there is no force in creation that can defeat you. That is why your enemies are left in awe and rage. You beat them without ever playing their game, because you were playing a higher one, the game of faith, patience, and tawakkul. So, chosen ones, never regret your restraint. Never regret the times you walked away instead of lashing out. Never regret the nights you cried to Allah instead of exposing your enemies. Those very choices are what secured your victory. You didn't just beat them, you exposed them. You revealed that their strength was nothing but weakness dressed up in arrogance, while your so-called weakness was strength rooted in Allah. They tried to drag you into darkness, but you chose to remain in light. And for that reason, they lost the battle before it even began. Chosen ones, here is the truth they could never comprehend. Your victory was decreed by Allah long before they ever sat together to whisper against you. Every plot they made, every lie they spread, every step they took in darkness was already known to the Lord of the worlds. Allah does not wait to see who wins. He has already written the outcome. The Quran reminds us, "No disaster strikes upon the earth or among yourselves except that it is in a register before we bring it into being. Indeed, that for Allah is easy." Surah Al-Hadid 57:22. This means your rise, your protection, your triumph. It was sealed in the unseen while they wasted their energy trying to undo what they could never touch. Look at the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The Quraysh plotted to kill him the night of his migration, but Allah had already written that their swords would never touch him. Look at Musa, peace be upon him. Pharaoh killed countless children to prevent his rise, yet the very child he feared was raised under his own roof by the command of Allah. And look at Yusuf, peace be upon him. His brothers tried to erase his destiny, but their betrayal only pushed him closer to the throne Allah had already promised him. Chosen ones, your life follows the same pattern. Their plots were never stronger than Allah's plan. They fought against something that was already written, and that is why they failed before they even began. Chosen ones, now you see it. No matter how much they plotted, no matter how hard they tried, no matter how many times they thought they won, you beat them without even lowering yourself. You didn't have to betray, lie, or scheme. You simply trusted Allah, stayed firm in truth, and Allah Himself fought your battles. That is the secret of the chosen ones. You don't win because of worldly power. You win because of divine protection. So hold your head high, walk with dignity, and never forget, the light Allah placed within you is unstoppable. If this message touched your heart, then share it with someone who needs the reminder. This is wisdom of the prophets. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because your journey as a chosen one has only just begun, and together we'll keep uncovering the signs of Allah's favor. Until next time, stay strong, stay patient, and stay connected to the one who never abandons his chosen.